This feels like what I've heard about how Scientology works as you move up through the levels. Like they're about to get through the wall of fire.
I will sue you!
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, tasty morsels. It's Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. I am about to continue watching The Three Body Problem. And I was very impressed by the first two episodes. The first one moved me to tears by the way it ended. I mean, I was just like literally sitting here just, descending into into the abyss of existential terror when the sky was basically being turned on and off by whoever the enemy is. The second episode was really fascinating, watching how what's her name, Ye,
you can do it.
I can't remember her name. How she was moved to by just all the awfulness that humanity had basically done to her in her lifetime, to just basically say, fuck it. Let them come, whoever these beings are, let them destroy us. And how she basically just ignored a warning and said, sure, come on down. And so now I assume, because just thinking of how, just generally story structure, we've got 8 episodes. The first 2 episodes, we really sort of set up some of our major players and explain some of the backstory, basically our inciting incidents in both time frames. I figure now's about time for us to get a solid look at some of the guys on the other side, like who are our bad guys. This episode is called Destroyer of Worlds. And that's another thing, it's another word or phrase related to major scientific paradigm shifts, right? This one, of course, Destroyer of Worlds, comes originally from, was it the Bhagavad Gita?
Correct!
Shiva says it.
Incorrect.
And of course is famously quoted by, supposedly quoted by Oppenheimer when the nuclear bomb was created in the Trinity Project. Behold, I am become death, destroyer of worlds. So it's interesting that we've got yet another thing that's kind of famously associated with a major scientific paradigm shift, the beginning of the nuclear age in this case. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where we're going with this. I want to learn more about who sent the message, like who's coming, what they're like, what their ultimate plans are, and who these humans are who appear to be working with them. I really love how they added a weird signal distortion kind of thing to the... there's Shiva right there.
Sort of an odd suicide, huh?
Oppenheimer's mistress died the same way.
And we already got Oppenheimer mentioned.
Something to have murdered. Maybe she just knew the kind of misery the world was about to face.
Man, you're a bit philosophical, aren't you, buddy? Kind of reminds me a little bit of stuff like Ghost in the Shell, where you have like basically police officers who would sit around and philosophize. Hey, you finally get to have one of the... So this is one of the things that I was wondering about, whether there was a link between who gets the headsets and who starts seeing the countdowns. But I'm pretty sure that Augie never got one of the headsets.
He used to say that all birdsong boiled down to one of 2 things.
Sex or scare.
You want some fuck?
Mine, or mate. I can't remember, but there's definitely mating involved.
You flirt weird, buddy.
Maybe there's more to life than knowing everything.
Unlikely.
I'm with her. I really do want to know everything. It might drive you insane, though.
We go to Patagonia or something. Somewhere fucking great. Jack can pay for everything. What do you think? We get the fuck out of England.
Having a rich friend is nice
Someday.
Sometimes. I feel like it wasn't entirely unrequited, whatever is going on here.
Holy shit. Oh, Jack.
Wow, it's actually pretty tame. Nerd quarters are usually way nerdier than that. I wonder if everybody gets one that's as fancily set up like this, you know what I mean? Or if they did it this way for him specifically because he's a billionaire. Wait, you weren't invited though. This also raised the question of whether or not the sort of default setup is coded into the hardware. Okay.
The only thing in there that's going to make people want to kill themselves is this annoying brat that's constantly whining, "Oh, save me, save me."
Because you're supposed to save her, idiot.
I was like initially thinking that the man and the girl were constant, but I'm pretty sure it's just the girl who's the exact same person in each one, regardless of where it takes place.
So someone broke in and left it here, and then you were like, "Oh, I should put this on my head."
I've got state-of-the-art security. I've been through every camera feed. There's no sign of anyone coming in or out.
You don't think that's alarming?
Put the pieces together. So it's just like what happened with you.
If it's a direct neural interface, it's controlling all sensory inputs and outputs. Everything that goes into your brain and everything that goes out.
Yep, because it is all electromagnetic signals.
Okay, I'm not going to kill myself.
I'm definitely not killing myself. My life's amazing.
Promise me you'll stop playing. Please.
There usually are signs before someone kills themselves, though. And
all right.
I think Vera was acting consistent with someone who was going to take her life.
How much have you been playing?
Wow. Well, we're kind of also like, doing a thing about like, people who play games and get really obsessive with it. Like they make spreadsheets and everything.
What if there is no pattern? I'm going to propose a radical idea. But I might need a little help.
I mean, there should be some pattern, right? So they're not just playing, they're group playing. Are they able to bridge each other's games? They are.
Nice, Francis Bacon.
Yeah.
How did you guys know you could do that?
Maybe the game found something we're both familiar with.
Oh, I don't like how it knows that.
Yeah, seriously, right?
You better not have gone through my search history.
Well, if we see a girl fighting on a birthday cake, we'll know.
Copernicus! Sir Francis!
She's formed a serious emotional attachment with her.
I'm sorry about last time, and the time before that. Well, all the times before.
And it's
I
also...
remember them all.
All of them?
You're a
Every time I died.
You're an AI training model. This is actually one of the major theories on how to create proper sentient AI. Is you give them memory, you give them the ability to reason, and then you just let them keep learning and remembering and learning and remembering, and that cycle of accumulating more and more information eventually creates the emergent property of consciousness.
I have observed more than one celestial body too bright to be a planet, moving relative to the fixed background of the stars. The only explanation for these observations
is you're in a multi-solar system.
Is part of a 3-body star system.
So, yeah, that's Proxima Centauri, isn't it?
This is bullshit, Your Holiness. You're about to decide on our proposal?
Silence!
So other players. It's a multiplayer game now. Is she the same as the AI that kept cutting people's heads off? Because, I mean, it's not lost on me that the little girl is vaguely Asiatic, and the woman, obviously with the sword and everything, is vaguely Asiatic. Like she might be a mixed ethnicity, Asian and European and
Why are
such.
we not dead too?
Because you're players.
Because we were right.
Oh, I see.
Civilization number 152
are you the little
was
girl?
Destroyed by a tri-solar day. But in this civilization, you have successfully revealed the basic structure of the star system. The game has now entered level 3.
I'm still hung up on whether this game is designed to create empathy for the aliens, or if it's to try and source a solution to their problem.
It's a recruitment tool. They're going after our best and brightest.
Yeah, a recruitment for what?
Okay, so that was one of the other things I was wondering about, was it whether it was a test. Those are only 3 things I can think of.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna love you. Just be yourself, yeah?
Man, I wish I had that dude's jawline.
Bacon tastes good.
Pork chops taste good.
Maybe go easy on the science talk.
Why?
So theoretically, I've just eaten an entire universe.
What if she did?
I laid there, slowly freezing until the Pakistani soldiers all came out, and that's when I threw my grenade. I killed them all. And I took the oxygen and supplies from their camp back to my men. And we all survived.
Well, that story was in this tale for reasons.
It turns out that the cancer's not inherently evil, right? It's actually looking for a place to live, like we all are, I suppose, with its children, which is fair enough. But obviously I said that's not all right with me. I'm using my body at the moment.
What? The aliens are talking to him using the cancer as a metaphor?
I think maybe you're reading a little too much into this.
You have to save her from him.
Who? Raj?
He's always smiling, isn't he? Always friendly. He is death. He is chaos.
Is he one of them? So if the cancer really is talking to him, as if this is the aliens, right, talking to him, then it sounds like they kind of want what I was saying made sense, which is not to conquer necessarily, but just to coexist. But he's kind of also talking about Raj like maybe he's one of the bad guys, and I'm pretty sure the bad guys in this show are the ones who are on the side of the aliens. So I'm just confused right now as to how gray things are versus how black or white things are.
We've got the finest scientists doing the finest work in the field, save for a CSO who seems to be having a mental breakdown.
You trying to lay the groundwork to have her removed?
You've led us to the precipice. We can easily start the project back up again if you persist in refusing.
Yeah, they can have you removed because you're acting strange.
We sponsor your ILR. You can't stay in this country on a work visa if you're not working.
I wonder, like, if she literally just even starts thinking about starting the work back up again, all of a sudden the numbers come back. So just trying to kind of figure out what sort of technology these people that they have, like, to manipulate the mind at a distance, to know what the mind is doing at a distance. What happens when it hits zero? I want to know.
Stop! Stop!
Wow. Tell you what, these guys, they know how to threaten people. That's for damn sure.
Are you with someone?
Are you guys together? I mean, is there a reason why he can't be with someone?
I'll be right there.
You're with someone.
Augie, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you as fast as I can, and
That's not fair. You can't expect people to act like you're in a relationship when you're not in a relationship.
I thought you were with Raj.
I told him that you just got dumped by your girlfriend.
I haven't got a girlfriend.
Oh shit. Where's your headset?
And she's become obsessed.
You're running out of chances, Copernicus. Soon the world will end for good.
Interesting. She actually seems to have achieved awareness. And I'm still wondering if she's the woman with the sword.
I've developed a science I call calculus to predict the movement of the sun.
And these calculations are performed by my great human abacus.
I do find it fascinating how you can essentially create a computer out of anything as long as you have, like, a way to store data and a way to manipulate data.
3-body 1.0!
How do they know what to do, though? So it's the I Ching, kinda, except done in a very different way.
A chaotic era will commence in 3 days. It would last 8 months, followed by a stable era of 10,000 years.
Unlikely. I hope we get to find out more about the other players.
Boil them.
Humanity is fucked up. Climb out.
It's all in your head. We're okay.
Okay. Mind over matter.
All in a line.
Super gravity.
Acidity.
So what? They're eclipsing one
No,
another.
the gravitational pull does get amplified in events like that, doesn't it?
The planet's under the gravitational force of all three suns!
Man, if this is really what the aliens have to deal with all the time, I can see why they want to try to find somewhere else. But why can't we be friends, man? We don't have to be, you don't have to like conquer us. Then again, with how shitty we are to each other, they probably would have to conquer us. Oh, dudes! And she remembers every single death.
It's not about solving the three-body problem. Our goal is to save the people.
Yeah.
The Count said survival is everything. That's the object of the game.
How the hell do we do that? Nothing can survive here.
That's the point. Nothing can survive there. You have to give them somewhere else. She just won the game because she figured out the actual true purpose of it.
In this civilization, you've correctly determined your true purpose in the game. You have now entered level 4.
Oh, I love all this high-tech stuff going on, and then we have like a freaking regular Play-Doh Epson inkjet.
Apologies, my lord.
My lord? Who are you talking to?
Do individuals experience fear on their own?
It's an individual emotion, yes.
For us, fear is something we experience as one.
If one survives, they all survive.
You contacted another planet. Is this the act of a timid species?
Not a species, no, my lord. A woman. A singular, fearless woman.
Are there other fearless humans?
Well, they show up from time to time, and we often look up to them as inspirations for others to follow.
How did they feel about that?
If your ancestors had followed the fearless, you would not exist. Humanity must learn to fear again.
Then we will teach them.
He's the worst possible teacher for them, because all of our emotions are effectively singular and collective. Our fears are individual, but we also share them as a society, and our hopes are the same way.
You're the only 2 people in the UK to make it this far.
This feels like what I've heard about how Scientology works as you move up through the levels. Like they're about to get through the wall of fire.
I will sue you!
Whenever you're ready.
You're gonna have them play the game in front of you. You guys can't be aware of what's happening outside of the game while you play the game. I mean, this woman could literally kill you while you're playing if she doesn't like what you do in the game.
It's a wasteland.
I think you're seeing their home world as it truly is now.
Dr. Chung.
So I guess she's not the same person.
You were right. There is no solution to the 3-body problem.
Maybe the girl just represents the entire alien species, because I think her voice even sounded similar to what was coming through the speaker that the man was my lord.
Our planet will be ripped in half, or pulled into one of the suns, or expelled into space forever.
A rogue planet. I wonder how much of this is representative of their
and
actual
when you know your planet
world.
is doomed, what is the solution?
Ask for help.
Find a new home.
Correct. Our only chance of survival lies elsewhere. The moment we received the invitation to your world, we knew our destination.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. We don't have to be enemies.
They are the final hope of civilization number 9478. And they are on their way.
Oh shit, they've got FTL.
Without your help, we won't make it.
It doesn't have to be conquering, guys.
I can't wait to meet you.
I know you're afraid, but you don't have to do it by conquering.
These Santiren, they're on their way here.
coming from an unstable three-body star system, 4 light years away.
Proxima Centauri!
Proud of you.
Except I think Proxima is a 2-star system. I have to check.
Come on, Jin.
Wait, Rooney. Don't you want to know more?
Oh, come on. This is fucking mental. She's talking about aliens.
I mean, aliens...
I think we should stay.
Aliens have to exist. Whether or not they're capable of getting here within our lifetimes or anything is a whole other question, but they have to exist.
And I'll be in the pub when you come to your senses.
No, Rooney! Jack!
You know too much. They might not let you leave, bro.
You must understand how the Santee feel. You were torn from your home too, weren't you?
Okay. She did have like a reaction when they mentioned how her parents would be proud of her.
I remember my home being swept away in the middle of the night. My parents grabbing me and tossing me onto a piece of door frame.
Wow. Sacrificed themselves to save you.
They've lived on in you.
It's not quite how we
If
work.
you survive, they've survived.
Our genetics don't allow for quite that level of continuity. It's a shame how pragmatism always has to work. It's like you could probably be friends, but the risk is so great of trying that that's ultimately what causes the conflict. That both sides are too afraid to be vulnerable enough to risk friendship. So why do I feel like he is about to be our first casualty of the group? Of course, it'd be very stupid of them to kill one of them too, though, because, I mean, that would make
fuck's sake.
That would make anybody else they recruit from the group go, wait a minute, we can't trust these guys. They're not sympathetic victims that we should be helping. They're just straight up killers. Oh man. How are you doing any of this?
All right, that's it. Get out of my house.
She's stronger than normal too? How are they doing this?
Get off me!
All you had to do was keep playing.
Oh, this isn't just scrubbing someone from cameras. Like, he literally can't even see through the glass and see that this is happening. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how they're able to do any of the things that they can do. You know what I mean? It seems clear that they have some sort of fundamental control over reality itself. Something that came up in this episode was the whole thing about dimensional perception, right? So the idea that if you exist on a certain dimensional level, you can only perceive up to whatever dimensions your senses are capable of perceiving.
Quit acting like you know what you're talking about.
So like, for instance, with us, right? We are 3-dimensional critters who exist. I think our senses are, because pretty sure time is considered the 4th dimension generally. So we're technically capable of perceiving time, though only in one direction. So we have, I guess, partial 4th dimensional perception, but not beyond that. I think some of the math says that there are about 13 spatial dimensions, or, temporospatial, I guess might be the better word for it. So, it's a whole stack of dimensional extensions from where we are at that we can't perceive with the senses we've got, right? So I'm wondering if they're capable of manipulating basically sort of down from a higher level. There's this sort of idea that if, the higher dimensionality you're able to interact with, the more effects you can extend downward, so to speak. So if they're capable of sort of reaching up into the higher dimensional areas, maybe that's why they're able to do things like blink out the universe and, keep people looking through a freaking window from actually seeing what's happening in there, because they're just manipulating space-time's lower 4 dimensions, or 5 dimensions maybe, so that it's just not perceptible. The woman who keeps popping up, Crazy Pretty Girl, was freakishly strong, it seemed. Because that type of glass, I'm sure that was tempered glass, and she pushed him against it with enough force that she shattered it, and then seemed like she was essentially crushing the life out of him with her bare hand. So I'm wondering if she a purely biological entity, and if so, whether she's been enhanced by some of their technology. I definitely want to know more about her. She's actually quite intriguing as a villain. Now we've got, who exactly their leader is talking to, the speaker, how their consciousness works too, because we do keep also coming back to this idea of if one of them survives, they all survive, and how their lord even basically was talking in a very collective way, like how we don't feel fear as individuals, we feel it as a group. Is there essentially just one actual consciousness that's distributed? And if so, how is it distributed? Like, is it a hive mind? Is it like a loose consensus kind of thing? Is it like the freaking Erasmus Overmind from like the Dune prequels, where it's like each individual is their own thing, but they're also synchronized with each other in a way so that they're basically always updating each other? And if that's the case, is it like a weird network where they're not all the same, but the sort of updates are constantly rippling from all of them to the rest of them? You know what I mean? So given enough time, they kind of essentially are effectively the same, even though they're technically different. And if you take a snapshot, I am still curious as to the exact nature of the little girl in the simulation. I kind of gathered, it seemed from what she was saying there, that somehow she's not simulated. It kind of felt like she was basically saying, though, that she was one of the Santidan or Trisolarans interacting from their world, because I think she said that some of them had to stay behind. I don't know if that's because they didn't have the resources to build enough ships, or maybe the technology that they needed to build to sort of start the process of finding people to help them required some of them to stay there, because that was the only place where they had the infrastructure to actually have the communication system work across such a distance. Because 4 light years, obviously, if we're working with regular physics, which they don't seem to be working with, it would be a 4-year back and forth delay minimum, right? But it seems like there was real-time communication going on between the leader of the humans who are working with them and our Lord.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Clearly, they at least have communications technology that does not obey the light speed limit. But the big thing that I keep coming back to, that I just think is probably going to end up being the tragedy of this story, is the fact that there probably is a scenario in which they could come in peace and be greeted in peace, and humanity and Santidan could coexist. With their technology, our world probably could actually support 2 sentient species. And there's also the fact that our star system is stable. With their technology, they could probably also, adapt several of the other worlds in the habitable zone to suit them. So they wouldn't necessarily even need to stay on Earth. They could just stay here temporarily while they alter, say, Mars, for instance. So there are options that don't involve forcibly conquering the Earth, but they're afraid. And I think that's one of the things that's really clear. Like, as a species, they are afraid. They're afraid that if they just came here and told us their situation and asked us for help, that we turn them away. And they know that they don't have to accept our answer, because they're very, very far beyond us in terms of technological sophistication and advancement. So they can just take it if they want. It almost kind of raises the question of why they're even bothering. The only thing that makes sense to me for why they would bother trying to convert some people to their side is that they are hoping for a peaceful solution rather than having to take the planet by force. Because otherwise, what would be the point? They could just come here and literally just wipe us out. I don't really see a specific downside to that for them. You know what I mean? If that's all they wanted to do. If they just wanted the fastest, easiest route, that's the fastest, easiest route. So it seems like maybe there's some division And actually, there has to be, right? Because the message that we received at first was like telling us, don't respond, you know, or else we'll conquer you. I'm a pacifist. That implies that they're not a monolith, just like we're not a monolith. And whenever you have groups that are set in conflict with each other, that are made up of individuals, there should be chances for multiple ways that things could work out. It shouldn't just be all rah rah, we're evil, and rah rah, we're the heroes and we're going to stand against you. It shouldn't come down to that. I'm hoping we're going to get a more nuanced take on conflict than just good versus bad. If you found out about the aliens and their plight, would you want to help them? I'll tell you right now, I would want to help them, but not at the cost of my own species. I need to know more about whether there is a possibility for coexistence that doesn't leave humanity as, like, you know, a slave race or wiped out or something else by the end of it. And I'm hoping that there is a possibility like that, you know, because the alternative is so sad and depressing. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do. What's your go-to reaction if you find out that another race desperately needs our help? Would you be inclined to try to help them, or would you just be like, nah, fuck them kids? Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this episode with me. I hope to see you for the next one, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes, because it definitely is still very gripping, and there's a lot of good mysteries to solve and a lot of interesting science to try to unravel in my head. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, do your best to stay safe and be well, and I will see you for the next one. Bye-bye.
We wander through the gravitational fields of all three suns. That's a chaotic era.
Away! Away! Turn me into a newt! A newt.